Welcome to Zombie Strains, the podcast that watches all the zombie movies. Today, we have a double feature. One film revisiting old tropes.
What are those drums?
Ah, senor, they are voodoo drums.
But don't worry.
Any voodoo that's practiced on this island today is quite harmless, I assure you.
Of course it is. And one film tackling the important new topics of the day.
Mrs. Nash told me a wild group of hippies busted into the hotel and are raising hell.
It's the 1971 classic double feature, I Drink Your Blood and I Eat Your Skin.
You know, I've seen people act like that in pictures. What do they call them? Zombies or something?
Zombies?
What's a zombie? Well, a zombie is, Mr. Bill is the living dead.
They are the living dead.
Get it, the zombies. It's an army of zombies no armies could stand.
The unburied dead are coming back to life and seeking human victims.
I saw the dead rise.
Kill the brain, and you kill the ghoul.
Welcome to Zombie Strains. I'm John.
I'm Andy.
And I'm Brad.
Producer Brad, Andy, welcome to the grindhouse.
Yes,
the year is 1971.
I thought we would have a couple more years before we just plunged into the depths of exploitation grindhouse horror, but I stand corrected.
Yeah, I'm curious about whether or not this feels like a try-hard grindhouse, but maybe all grindhouses try hard. I don't actually know. So
I think try hard is part of the DNA of a good grindhouse movie.
Yeah, I think you are correct. In any case, the films we're speaking of are I Drink Your Blood and I Eat Your Skin, which were presented as a double feature in 1971. However, before we get there, is anyone reading or enjoying anything zombie or, just general movie related? We always like to throw stuff out there.
No, I have been pondering a reread of the Walking Dead comics, which I enjoyed very much when I read them a couple of years ago. But that would be a big time investment. So,
I'm curious. I have never read them, and I think I would enjoy them. I didn't want to watch the show so much, but I think I might enjoy a comic book of it more.
I think you would enjoy the comics, John.
Well, it's the same guy who writes. It's Robert Kirkman. Is that
yes.
right? The same guy who writes Invincible or wrote Invincible. Yeah. Yeah, and I enjoyed Invincible, so I should give it a shot. I am reading a book. I think I talked about it once before. It's called Between Two Fires. It is a horror novel set during the Black Plague. It's about a knight that is sort of protecting a young sort of Joan of Arc figure who's traveling around France trying to rescue it from the plague, and they run into devils and demons, and she's strangely blessed, and it's absolutely fantastic. So I can't recommend it enough. Came out in 2012.
Does it make you think of that Santa movie we watched a couple episodes ago about Santa during the Middle Ages or whenever it was?
Not even a little bit. So, okay. Yeah.
That's probably for the best.
So I really enjoyed that. And I'd like to say me and the family watched Sheep Detectives last night, and maybe we prefer that to this. But I don't want to judge these films too soon.
I've heard that's quite good. Yeah, we'll stay tuned to the end when we rate these two movies against Sheep Detectives.
There you go. All right. Well, Brad, tell us how we got here. What happened?
What went wrong?
The story of this double bill starts in 1964. Del Tenney, having just finished directing and producing The Horror of Party Beach, went to Florida to shoot a movie he wrote called Zombie.
I knew it
so much. Yes.
Oh, you guys didn't remember the name when you watched it?
No, that's okay. It's all coming together for me.
Yes. All right. All is forgiven. I understand now.
So he made money on The Horror of Party Beach, and he took a lot of the money and went to Florida to shoot a movie called Zombie. Now, Tenney was a regional horror movie director based in Connecticut, and this is Tenney's second film on zombie strains, the first being Horror of Party Beach. He directed only 4 movies in total, and I Eat Your Skin is the third. His last film, Descendant, came out in 2003, and he died in 2013.
Whoa, that's a long break between masterpieces.
Yeah.
He discovered that he wasn't going to make money, and so he stopped doing films after this one until he came back around 2000. Now, William Graffet was the second unit director on I Eat Your Skin.
Can I just interject right there? Here's the joke I wrote down. Second unit director? Did they have a first unit director? Sorry, carry on.
It is hard. I have already refrained from making several cracks about the quality of these films. It's just going to be difficult, but carry on, Brad.
I was surprised that I Eat Your Skin had a surprising level of competence in terms of how it looked at times.
Yeah, it was coherent and actually not terribly shot. It has other sins, but we'll get to those.
Well, William Griffey was the second unit director. He calls himself the Swamp Man. Okay. He went on to direct a bunch of low-budget and exploitation films, all filmed in Florida, or most filmed in Florida. He directed the 1974 film Impulse, which starred William Shatner as a killer.
Oh, wow.
He also shot the shark scenes for Live and Let Die. The DVD for I Eat Your Skins has some background story in him, and he did a movie called Mako, which was about the Jaws of Death. It was a shark movie.
Yeah.
He couldn't afford to make a model, so he used real sharks.
I like him already.
As his instructions to the actors were just like, it'll be fine. Just swim really fast. It's all the way across the pool.
I think there was a scene where somehow they have a dead shark, and so they're using that to like attack people up close, and then they toss it in the water and it swam off.
Oh God.
William Joyce played Tom Harris. His best known role was 3 years later after I Eat Your Skin. He played Senator Charles Carroll, whose assassination starts the conspiracy in the 1974 film, The Parallax View.
Yes, like a film of note. And I can't say I recognized him from that, but like he clearly was that guy. Like at some point I've seen him in some old TV show or something.
Yeah, you're watching him. He has moments of like, this guy's really good.
Yeah, I know.
Why am I seeing him in this? And then there are moments where, oh, that's why he's in this.
Yes.
He then had many TV guest spots in shows like The Rockford Files, Barnaby Jones, Knight Rider, Baywatch, and Hunter. He died in 1998. Heather Hewitt played Jeannie. She was a model in the 60s and 70s, appearing on the covers of magazines like Playboy, Cosmopolitan, and Life. After I Eat Your Skin, she had background parts in shows like The Misadventures of Sheriff Lobo and Fantasy Island. In the 90s, you can find her in bit parts in high-profile movies like Indecent Proposal, Dave, and That Thing You Do.
Interesting.
Huh.
Her last credit is a 2011 movie called Lovesick Captivity. And I bring it up because the director of that film is named Creeperson. And, of course, he has a zombie film called Zombie Dolls with a Z from 2015.
Great.
And it wasn't on our list, but it is now.
Well, thank God.
That's like 10 years later than you could put a Z at the end of something. And
I know.
cool.
I feel like maybe even a whole deck. Yeah, like 90s was maybe the last time.
Yeah.
That was a good idea. Yeah.
Also, I got to say, so he called himself the Swamp Man. Like, it's very hard to be cool and come up with a nickname for yourself, isn't it?
Yeah. Pete Rose came up with his own nickname and nobody used it but him. So
what was that nickname?
Charlie Hustle, I think.
Okay,
Wasn't that right?
I understand why no one used that.
Yeah.
But yes.
So you guys are talking about William Griffey again, the second unit director.
Yeah.
On the DVD for I Eat Your Skin, there is like a 8-minute mini documentary on him.
Oh, yeah.
And it's just him talking. And then at the end, it says produced and directed by William Griffey. So he did his own documentary himself.
We have this wrong. We should just be pretending we're big deals and making documentaries about us. Documentaries about the geniuses behind zombie strains.
Look at
Sell
us.
to Netflix.
We're middle-aged. We're struggling to pay the mortgage. And all we needed to have done is just have the attitude of this guy. Give ourselves a nickname and write it. Yeah.
So William Coy played Charles Bentley. His career goes back to 1936.
Nice.
He played a reporter in the 1954 horror film Them, and was in many movie and TV westerns, Rawhide, Cheyenne, Shotgun Slade, Ben Masterson. He's probably best known as playing John Wayne's younger brother in John Ford's The Searchers.
Oh.
Huh. Okay.
I wouldn't have recognized him, but yeah, now that you say it.
Yeah, he was actually really good in this film, I thought.
Yeah, he has the most like theatrical weight of anyone in this one.
Yes.
In the mini documentary on William Griffey, Griffey said he learned a lot from this actor because he said to them, do you want me to do this cut to scene? And they go, what does that mean? So he taught them how to shoot, meaning do your master shot. And then when you do close-ups of me, I will do the same motions and I'll match it to the dialogue. So when you cut, everything matches. And so he taught the filmmakers how to do this.
This is amazing.
And he died in 1974.
All right.
Oh, wow.
Poor
Not
guy.
long at all after this, then. That's a bummer.
Vinoy Atkins played Roby, the dancing voodoo priest.
He must have been a professional dancer.
Well, he started his career in the 1940s as a dancer in the Catherine Dunham Company.
Yeah, he was really good.
Dunham is a fascinating person herself. She attended the University of Chicago and studied anthropology. After graduating, she went to the Caribbean and spent time in Jamaica and Haiti. She studied Vodun rituals and their dances and even became a priestess in the religion.
Oh, wow.
And I'll post a link in the show notes to an academic video that details her studies and how she found that dance is a way of life and a way of connecting to ancestors.
Huh.
Which is a great insight into many of the dances and the rituals we've seen in Zombie Strains.
Yeah, every zombie ritual you see, I'm sure, is a bit salacious, but I will say that there's something about his performance, like as dancing as acting, because he's very believable and he's great at dancing. You can just see he's a professional, and so it adds a lot to those scenes, which we've seen much hokier versions of than in this movie.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's a extended sequence of a woman dancing at the beginning of this one. Does she get any billing on this, Brad? Because she also looked like they must have hired a professional dancer for this.
I don't know about her. I do know that Akins in the 70s reconnected with Dunham, and they did a retrospective of her dances. So he became a choreographer as well. And so I would have to assume that he was involved in choreographing the dances we see in this film.
Yeah, I'm sure.
This was his last role, and he died in 2013.
Oh, all right.
All right, so Del Tenney shot Zombie under the title Caribbean Adventure. He worried that Zombie would scare away investors, and he ultimately made the movie for $120,000. The goal was to release the film on a double bill with Frankenstein meets the Space Monster. This didn't happen, and Zombie sat on the shelf unreleased for 6 years.
I was going to say, that's the big vibe from this, is it seems like a throwback.
Yeah.
So let's jump to 1970. Producer Jerry Gross hired David Durston to write and direct a horror movie. Durston wrote a script called Phobia, which was inspired by two current events. He had read an article about rabid wolves attacking a school in Iran.
Whoa.
And Durston was horrified to learn that many children were infected with rabies and were even put in cages.
Goodness. I had a rabies story that I'm not going to tell now because it's just about my neighbor. So carry on. That's much more serious.
Yeah, come on.
Also in the news at the time was the Charles Manson trial. So he added a cult with a charismatic leader to the story.
I have a lot to say about this charismatic leader when we get there.
Durston had written and directed several episodes of the highly acclaimed Playhouse 90 series on CBS. This show is often considered one of the greatest TV shows in history. Many writers and directors got their start here, including John Frankenheimer, Arthur Haley, Sidney Lumet, George Roy Hill, and Rod Serling.
Huh.
Okay.
The cast for I Drink Your Blood was led by Bhaskar Chowdhury. Chowdhury was a premier dancer of Indian folk dances and toured the world. In 1977, during a performance at Purdue University, he fell into an orchestra pit and was paralyzed from the waist down.
Oh.
He died in 2003.
Oh, goodness.
Jaden Wong plays Sue Lin. Her first acting credit was in 1939 in the Peter Lorre film Mr. Moto Takes a Vacation. And her last credit is in 2006 in The Pink Panther. She died in 2010.
That's so bizarre. Because normally when we see somebody go from 39 to 2026, it'd be like 248 credits or something, but she has 12.
Yeah.
Well, I think that's a function of the time and being Asian.
Yeah.
There are limited opportunities.
Fair enough.
Lynn Lowry played Carrie, the young cult member, and I Drink Your Blood is her first film. She went on to be in George Romero's The Crazies and David Cronenberg's Shivers.
Whoa, okay.
And the Cat People remake. Goodness.
She was also in the 1982 version of Cat People. She played the sex worker who was mauled by a panther.
All right. And she's in another zombie movie, I see.
Well, hold on a second. After Cat People, she focused on acting in theater and only had a few TV credits for a few decades. But her film career took off in the late 2000s. She had a cameo in the 2010 remake of The Crazies, and she's become a mainstay in low-budget horror films with over 60 credits since 2005, including 3 zombie movies that weren't on our list.
That's what I'm talking about.
And I've added those too.
Yeah.
So after Durston turned in his finished film, Phobia, producer Jerry Gross retitled it I Drink Your Blood. He bought Del Tenney's zombie movie and retitled that I Eat Your Skin and released the two as a double bill.
That's marketing for you.
It is. There's no blood drinking or skin eating in either of these movies. I'm
No.
sorry to tell you, listeners.
I Drink Your Blood initially received an X rating, the first film to be rated X for violence, not nudity. After an appeal and a few edits, the film received an R rating.
Interesting.
And while it was being repealed, they actually sent the film out and they told all the theaters, go ahead and edit it to your community norms. So wherever it was playing, there were different versions that the producers and directors had no clue how it was cut.
Interesting.
Interesting.
Did we watch the full cut?
We watched a cut, I believe the director, what was it called? It was from the DVD, so it has to be, if not the director's cut, then it has to be the official version.
The R-rated version. Yeah, I'm so fascinated by this because 1970s when horror gets gross, and we're just starting right here in a somewhat quaint way, actually.
Those are the facts that I have for these films.
It's quaint, but it's nasty.
Yes.
You know, in a way, I knew we were going to get here. I just didn't. I feel like we were jumping into the deep end right away in the 70s.
Well, before we, yes, I have a lot to say about that too. But do you want to do any cultural context here, Andy?
I have some commentary. So I think the cultural context that's relevant is go listen to our cultural context for the Omega Man movie, where we talk about a lot of the themes that horror is exploiting, because a lot of those themes are picked up right here, especially in I Drink Your Blood. And I would like to talk about them as we go through our discussion. So
I Drink Your Blood is a revenge movie. It's a group of hippies on the outskirts of town sexually assault a girl during one of their ceremonies. The town in question is slowly dying because of a dam being constructed nearby. So the evil hippies decide to set up shop in the town. When the grandfather of that girl and the town veterinarian goes to confront them, they attack him and drug him. So the little brother of the assaulted girl then takes revenge by extracting blood from a rabid dog and putting it in their food, which caused them to go insane and infect all of the local construction workers, who then tear up the town, killing everybody but the boy and Sylvia and his older sister Sylvia. Did I miss any important points here?
Let's see. Who is the other sister or someone?
I think she's
someone else survived. Mildred.
Well, she doesn't really survive though, does she?
Okay, I guess. Yeah, we'll get to that. Yeah.
So I want to start because here's a piece of cultural context, and I can't believe this is a mistake. There is a character that opens the film. We're about to hear a clip of them. And we're not going to go through this beat by beat because we got 2 movies to cover here, people. So we're just going to hit some highlights. But I want to tell you how the movie starts because the actor, I would say his name Bhaskar, is clearly from India. He is playing a Native American named, I thought they said horse, but it's actually Horace.
Yeah, Horace Bones.
And there's so many levels of like racism there. Like I don't even know where to start. Like. Yes. It's pretty in depth. So anyway, would we like to hear what Horace has to say about his how he spends his free time? How about we just jump right into it with clip 1.
Let it be known to all the spirits that I, Horace Bones, was born into hell and reborn to this earth. Let all the spirits hear. I am the firstborn son of Satan.
And one thing that's not in that clip is he also mentions he's a Capricorn. So, all those things kind of go together, I guess.
Yes, and you can't hear it, but there's a lot of nudity happening while he's saying those lines.
So everyone is nude, including the men. They tend to shoot them from the waist up, though they sneak a little peek down below in a couple of the shots. And it's just this. So we start with this satanic ceremony, and the local girl Sylvia is watching from the trees because she met one of the quote unquote nice member of the satanic cult. They call themselves Sados, and I was really disappointed when they mentioned that just stands for sons and daughters of Satan. Like I thought it was it's just an acronym.
Yeah.
I was a little
it's like a government acronym.
Yes, exactly. So they chase down this girl who's watching. This is the local girl, Sylvia. They don't explicitly show it, but it's assumed that they sexually assault her. She then goes wandering into town.
And it's the two other men in the group, not Andy, the one who was nice to her.
Right.
In a minute, I'd like to pause and go through the membership of the cult, but
can we please
continue with your overview?
Well, I think that's as far as I wanted to go here. That's the really first part of the movie is they chase her through the woods. Let's talk about these hippies, because they're clearly hippies. Like, just like you were saying, our cultural context for the Omega Man, this is all hippiedom is Satanism, and it's all this mysticism is actually evil, and all that flower child stuff is just bunk. You know, like it's clearly the position this movie is taking.
Yeah, I mean, and this is right. Obviously, Horus is based on Charles Manson, as Brad mentioned.
Yep.
And this cult is based on the family. And, you know, as we discuss in Omega Man, this is picking up on the theme, you know, the mythology that arose around the Manson murders really pivoted a lot of opinion about whether these hippie groups were just harmless, drug-addled, silly people,
right,
or if there was something sinister behind them. And this movie is obviously playing into the fear that there might be something really sinister about them.
And do you want to go through the leaders? So that's Horace Bones. We also have Rollo.
Yeah, like let me make an overall statement about this cult.
Oh, sure.
I was fascinated. You mentioned that there's a lot of levels of racism going on here.
Yes.
And I think that is an integral part of this movie is it's playing on racial fears
and homophobic fears as well. And one thing I think that I don't think I put together, like when I thought grindhouse, and I am not a connoisseur, sorry Quentin Tarantino, if you're listening, I'm not a big fan generally, but one thing that I guess surprised me is, like, I knew it would be gory and push the boundaries of like what is acceptable to show on a movie screen, but it's also pushing the boundaries of racism and sexism and homophobia. Like it's really pushing on those things too, in a way that I didn't expect. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Like we've watched a lot of movies that are some degree of racially insensitive.
Yeah.
But there is a lot of the earlier films, I think there's a certain like kind of naivety about some of the racism.
Yes.
It's racist, but I don't think they're trying to be provocative with it. I think that's the world they live in, and that's the type of story they're used to telling.
Right.
Whereas this one, the racism is like overt. Like, so let's talk about like the makeup of this cult group.
Yeah.
So the only people in this movie that aren't white are the cult members, the cult leadership, you might say.
Yes.
So there's 8 people in the cult. There's Horace, who is the Charles Manson leader.
Mm-hmm.
And there's like kind of 2 second in commands. There's, is it Rollo?
I say Rollo.
And then Su Yin, was that the other one?
That's the other one.
So Rollo is a black man and Su Yin is a Chinese woman.
Correct.
And so the 3 leadership members of this cult are all non-white, basically. And
they're all cultural stereotypes to the extreme.
Yes. They're big caricatures.
Yes.
Below them in the cult, so that's 3. The other 5 members of the cult are all white people.
Yep.
And they are...
I don't even know all their names.
The white members of the cult are all to some degree they're walked all over and abused by the leadership, by the non-white leadership of the cult. So there's 3 women who are basically like Horus's harem, you might say.
One of which is, she believes, carrying the child of Satan.
That's right.
She's pregnant by Horus.
There are 2 white men. One of them gets like routinely abused and eventually killed by the cult when they start going crazy.
And they kind of suggest he's a narc, maybe.
Yes.
Yeah.
And then the other is a kind of a dilettante, like not taking, he's here for the partying, but he doesn't take the Satan stuff very seriously. The movie will kind of try to pitch him later as like a sort of hero, but it's not very believable once you've seen very much of him.
Correct.
All I'm trying to say here is this movie is about what happens when, from the perspective of like white middle-class America, minorities come into your town and they bring chaos and crime and terror and they sexually menace your women. And like I said, I don't think that's like naive. I think that they're
No.
intentionally trying to provoke you with this setup. It doesn't make it any more enjoyable to watch. But any thoughts on that, Brad or John?
No, I think you nailed it. And it's and they do it in such an obvious way because Rollo is also subbing in as a homosexual, so he both sexually menaces the women and the men in the town.
Yeah.
And so it's just a lot, and it's so heavy-handed. I was just surprised. Like you say, it wasn't incidental. It was the point. Yeah.
Yeah. Horace and Rollo spend the whole movie without a shirt on, so they're more primal too.
Yeah.
So I don't want to spend a ton of time going beat by beat. I'm going to give you a bunch of narrative in a stack, and then we can pick out what we want to pull out of there.
Okay.
So I'll sort of go act by act. So in the first act, the hippies come to town. They get up into various crazy behavior. I love this about criminals. Like, you ever run into a guy who like clearly is trying to cheat you, and he's like so obsequious that it's so obvious. And I always wonder if people like that, this is how the hippies behave when they talk to regular people in the town. And I always wonder if people like that know how obvious we all think they are. Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So in any case, they decide they're going to stay there. They're going to operate from there. And this town is abandoned, so they can sort of pick any house they want. So they pick the worst house. And they go into it, and they hunt rats, and they cook them on a spit.
It's a hotel, actually. It's like an abandoned hotel.
It's an abandoned
right?
hotel. So I will say, what we haven't done in a long time, and we actually need to do, is a trigger warning.
Yeah.
This film features actual animals who are killed in the filming. There's a chicken, there's these rats, and then later there's a goat. So, and those were all real animals. So that was...
Both the films we watched did not have the tag at the end that said no animals were hurt in the making of this film.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah,
both films.
This was upsetting to me. I don't enjoy watching this. We watched one movie this season, I think already. I think it was a Mexican film.
Yes.
It was maybe Snake People that had a live chicken being killed. And
yeah,
I look forward to whenever this stops becoming legal.
Yeah. Yes. The goat was particularly upsetting, but yes. Okay. So they set up shop. Sylvia's grandfather, it goes and confronts them. They beat him up. They drug him, and I have a clip about that, but I just want to know if there's anything you want to pick out of that before I described the drugging of Grandpa.
I don't think so. But with the drugging of Grandpa, are you old enough to have been around when people were afraid that at Halloween you were going to get candy that was laced with something?
Absolutely.
I wonder. I'm curious where this fear came from. Not only that there are people doing drugs, but that they might try to drug you for some reason.
Yes. LSD in the candy. So speaking of LSD, Grandpa freaks out and hallucinates, and his grandkids are very worried about him. And here's what that sounds like.
What happened to Grandpa? He went over to the old hotel. He was gonna kill him. Instead, they got him drunk.
He's not drunk, stupid. He's been doped.
Huh?
With that stuff that they call LSD. The whole bunch take it.
What does it do, that L, whatever you call it?
Boy, you really don't know anything. Well, it makes a person crazy.
Wow. Is that what they've done to Grandpa?
Yeah, so you heard there are two people, Sylvia, the woman who was assaulted, and then you hear the voice of the true villain of this film. The young boy who lives with his grandpa, who is a psycho, though I don't know if we're supposed to think that. So there's this bit I didn't quite understand, but right after this, he takes the shotgun. He goes out into the woods. I think he's going to go shoot Rollo and Horace.
I think his intent is to take the gun and go seek revenge on them.
Right. But instead, he runs into a rabid dog, which he shoots. And then do you want to tell what he does with the rabid dog, Andy, if it's not too upsetting? I don't think this was a real dead dog, but God, I hope not.
I don't think so. I was watching carefully. One thing I wanted to say, so I was watching two versions of this sort of at the same time.
Oh, yeah?
I had one that was like a good quality, and it had the director commentary.
Yeah.
But the sound of the regular movie was almost inaudible in that one. So I was also watching a version that pixelated out any kind of violence or nudity.
Oh, really?
But the trigger for when to start pixeling was like the appearance of any kind of blood in the scene. And so there's a lot of scenes in this movie that aren't especially gory, but there is blood somewhere in the shot. So this was about where the movie started to become difficult to watch, starting with this dead dog, which was all pixelated out. Anyway, all right, that's a dumb little aside. But no, we see him. It takes us a while to realize what Pete, that's the boy's name, is going to do. Because he goes back and his grandpa runs like a vet clinic or something. I don't know. And he's gathering all of this stuff together, and you see him laboriously take all this veterinary equipment and draw blood from the dead rabid dog.
Yes.
He takes it back, and his devious plan, and like John said, he is the actual biggest psycho of this movie.
Absolutely.
He is going to poison these hippies by injecting rabies-infected blood into their food. Now, this family owns and operates this bakery in town. It's like the only business left in town. So they know the hippies are going to have to come there for food. So he injects rabid blood into a big batch of meat pies, which the hippies come by the next morning and purchase and then eat very messily and without using utensils.
Well, Pete sells it to them at a discount.
Yes. He's like, they're on sale. And,
what was
also,
it? It was like a quarter a pie if they buy 12 or something.
Yeah,
like
and
that.
he's got to talk the woman who runs the bakery into Mildred into selling him. She's like, I've got these ones over here, and he's like, no, these ones. You gotta take these ones. And the note I took here is the real horror of this film is watching people eat. Because they ravenously devour the rabies-filled pies.
Yes.
Is this a good time to talk about rabies, Andy?
All right. Yeah, we might as well. I have a little quiz for you guys. Just a couple questions.
Yeah.
Having just watched this scientific documentary, I think you're primed to do well on my quiz.
Now, do you want to hear, before we get to your quiz, do you want to hear what Grandpa has to say about rabies?
Of course.
Yeah, let's hear this is later in the film, but let's hear what Grandpa has to say about rabies.
But before that, it's like the devil takes over the body, the mind reduced to the level of an animal, capable of the most savage acts. The color of red triggers an excitement in the mind, and of course, the fear of water and clear liquid produces an almost fanatical craving for raw flesh. What worries me is the fact that this here hippie group is on hard drugs. Coupled with a reaction to the rabies virus, it's bound to cause unthinkable complications.
So I forgot to mention, Grandpa is a veterinarian. So based on your research, Andy, how well does the veterinarian's diagnosis match up with reality? Perhaps your quiz will reveal that.
Let's find out. Listeners, get a pad of paper and a number 2 pencil.
I'm ready.
No cheating. We have 3 questions. All right. Brad, John, and listeners. This is multiple choice. So I'm going to read you the question and then 4 possible answers.
Okay.
What is the incubation period of rabies in humans? Here are your possible answers. A, hours. B, days. C, weeks. Or D, months.
I say weeks.
I was going to say weeks.
It's months and possibly up to a year.
Oh, wow.
But I think we can all agree that this movie's plot suffers if the rabies doesn't kick in for a year.
Yes.
Okay, next question. Which of the following is not a symptom of rabies? A, hydrophobia, fear of water. B, hypersalivation, excessive drool. 3, aerophobia, fear of drafts of air. Or 4, a fanatical craving for raw flesh.
I was going to go with 4, a fanatical craving for raw flesh. But what do you think, Producer Brad?
Well, I know, because I did a brief research, I know that you're not afraid of water. You have difficulty swallowing, which makes you fearful to drink water.
Aha.
So I will go with 1, but I'm not confident at all.
First of all, I think I alternated between using numbers and letters in my answers. That was just to confuse you. The actual answer is D, a fanatical craving for raw flesh is not a symptom of being rabid.
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
Bummer.
Those other things are, although with some of the nuances that Brad points out.
Well, but Andy, rabies is complicated by the introduction of hard drugs.
Yes.
Exactly. So all bets are off for this.
Yeah.
Who knows?
If you're on LSD and you get rabies, who knows what you can.
One more rabies quiz question.
All right.
Which of the following ways does rabies spread to humans? A, ingesting rabies-infected blood through a meat pie, for example. B, sexual activity with an infected person. C, saliva from an infected person entering broken skin. Or D, extended close physical proximity to an infected person. Which one is true? One of those is a real way that rabies can...
broken skin.
The broken skin.
Yeah, it's broken skin.
Yeah.
Yes. The other ways are used in this movie, but all right. That was my brief...
I have a question to add.
Yeah.
How many deaths a year in the U.S. from rabies?
Not many, I hope.
75.
Less than 10.
Oh, wow.
And this is from the CDC.
You know what's interesting about that is, like, I had a friend who had an older house, and they had a bat, and they realized they had a couple of bats in their living area, and they all had to get the treatment anyway, just in case. And bats aren't really more susceptible to rabies than anything else, or a dog or a raccoon. It's just they are the scariest ones.
The CDC says raccoons, skunks, and foxes pose the most significant threat to humans.
Yeah, but foxes don't come live in your house like bats do.
No.
So.
Did those numbers spike in 1971 when this entire town was wiped out by rabies?
I was going to say.
It doesn't show that, but it does show that, positive rabies cases, there's 20 plus in Southern California where I live, and that's like in the high end.
Okay.
So the point of all that with that dumb quiz is this movie, like, it's always curious to me when a movie uses a real thing for which there are real facts. And like, this movie should have made up like some kind of disease or just not had it be rabies. Because if I don't know much about rabies, but I know enough to know that, like, you don't pass rabies to someone by, like, having sex with them, for example, which is one of the ways it gets transmitted.
One of the ways. It's the way it gets
the many
to
ways.
24 men who become infected.
So I'm just always curious why you choose to use something that some of your audience will know isn't correct, but you do anyway.
I wouldn't want to suggest the type of person who makes a gruesome grindhouse movie is lazy creatively, but...
Well, he's the opposite of lazy. I mentioned that he read an article. He tracked down a doctor who went around where this village was infected, and that doctor showed him film of the event. And that's where he saw on film the kids in cages who were foaming at the mouth and out of control.
Oh, wow.
That sounds awful.
So I think his imagination just ran with that.
All right. So the entire cult, or most of the cult, is infected with rabies except the one quote-unquote nice guy. And Andy.
Yes, his name is Andy.
Surprising.
I am a nice guy, but I was not a member of this cult.
And we could go through all the details, but they end up killing one of their own members. Rollo goes mad and cuts the leg off of that member with an axe. They start running around town, chasing each other. The one woman who's infected seduces a bunch of the construction workers, and it is suggested she has sex with all of them, so that they all become infected. Now, we missed a vector here, which is that Matilda is friends with this guy, Roger. They're dating or something. What's his name?
Her name is Mildred.
Mildred.
And she's friends with John.
She's friends with John. In any case, their relationship...
Oh, I'm sorry. She's friends with Roger.
Roger. Yeah. Okay, I got half of it.
There's
right.
a lot of bit characters in this movie, is what John's trying to say.
Yeah, and so there's a relationship there, and that's why these construction workers come down, because John asked them to come down and look after the town, because they're big, tough guys. Except they all get seduced by this woman and all become rabid. And then they become our group of quote-unquote zombies who are racing around the town trying to kill everybody.
Yes.
They go absolutely bonkers. They cut the head off of the one nice hippie, and they like throw it around and show it around all the time. They kill Grandpa with a pitchfork.
Really proud. That guy who has the head is real proud of it because he keeps.
He's real proud of that. Yeah, the two.
To be honest, for a low budget movie, it looked like the actor. It was kind of well done. It didn't look like a real head, but it looked like the actor, which was impressive.
Yeah. So the movie then is just taking opportunities to show gross stuff. So like two of the women go to another like townswoman's house, and she's nice to them. So the younger one cuts off her hand with one of those electric knives, which I don't think people own anymore. Thank God.
We still use ours.
Do you?
We do.
I've never had one.
I will not be going to Brad's house anytime soon. I've seen what happens with these things.
Yeah.
So it's almost like a montage of all the cult members all slowly go crazy with rabies, and they go out and commit atrocities on the townsfolk.
Yeah.
And then once those construction workers all get infected, they start running around like a feral mob in a more traditional, I guess, fast zombie sort of way. So,
and they all have shaving cream around their mouths.
They do. So, yeah, speaking of the shaving cream around their mouths, which is our indicator of how we know they have rabies.
Yeah.
I guess we've met our zombies. Do you want to tell us about them, John?
Yeah. So they're essentially a modern zombie. They're fast-moving, tool-using, cannibalistic zombies. They're smarter than an average zombie. They can solve problems and figure things out, but they have that sort of, rabid nature, which makes them sort of go after people regardless of the cost to their own life. You know what I mean?
Yeah. And what is the main weakness that is used against them that the various people many times successfully use this weakness against them to escape the zombies?
Yeah, this is amazing. It's water. Because they say it's hydrophobia. So they run through a river, that works. But then when the big scene where they escape, she uses a garden hose to force them to run the other direction, which is amazing. But the highlight of this moment is actually the battle between Rollo and Horace Bones. We can't show it to you, but let us play some of the music that occurs during this epic battle. Well, if that didn't get your blood pumping for this movie, I don't know what else I can do. In any
I'm glad
case,
you got that clip because there are a lot of great psychedelic sound effects throughout this movie. It's if you are a sucker for that sort of thing, this movie is always playing weird, goofy sound effects.
Yes. So
early synthesizer too.
Yeah. All right. So just to wrap this thing up, Sylvia and Pete, the young woman and the boy, appear to be okay. Mildred appears to be okay, but then she makes kissy face with Roger and shoots him in the head because she's really rabid. The boy tries to confess to the police, and they don't believe him. And then the movie ends. Did you want to add anything to that?
Let's see. A couple things. First of all, so one of the big surprises at the end is that a person you thought had escaped actually somehow contracted rabies. Did we ever see how she got it or just...
Yeah, she was
bit on the arm.
She was bit in the hand by a zombie when she was holding them off in one direction with the garden hose, and they snuck up behind her.
That's right. So this is a classic zombie trope of the person that gets bit. And if you're paying attention or you just know kind of the narrative beats,
right,
you can tell that they've been bitten and that the filmmakers are putting it in their pocket to spring on you later.
Yes.
And I personally enjoy that trope very, very much.
I feel like it's...
And there's lots of ways that filmmakers...
No, I mean, I guess Night of the Living Dead is the first time. But
yeah. Well, but Night of the Living Dead, did that have someone who... Well, I guess the
daughter in Night of the Living Dead
I'm
is
talking
bitten.
more like a hero... who then continues to act normally for a while, except if you are watching for the little cues the filmmakers give you, you know, they'll cut away in a way that draws attention to the fact that did they just get bit? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But it also ends with that the zombie crisis is continuing.
Yes.
The people around them thinks it has ended, but yet at the very end, she rises and it is a zombie.
Yeah.
That I think is new.
Yeah. Yes. So that's the surprise. She turns out to be rabid. And while she's making out with Roger,
or is it John? It's John. It's Roger.
Making out with one of these indistinguishable people. She shoots him in the head because she's crazy and rabid.
Right.
And
they leave guns lying around all the time.
We've talked about this before, the general horror trope of it's over or is it?
Yes.
Right. You know, and I think we've had this once or twice before, or am I wrong?
No, I think you're right.
If not, this is a definite first we should call out for zombie movies. So let's see, a couple just other quick things. Can we talk about the violence and the provocative content in this movie? Because while it's still relatively tame compared to what you see on Game of Thrones or something.
Right.
It is a huge leap forward, not just in graphic display of violence, but in just kind of the nastiness of some of the violence.
The focus on it. When the young woman cuts the hand off the nice lady who fed her, she sort of gleefully runs around showing the hand.
I mean, in her defense, I don't know what I would do if my hand got cut off. I don't know.
Yeah.
I would probably also just kind of run around.
Yes, but I meant the girl who cut it off also is holding the hand gleefully.
Oh, right. Yeah.
So they're really making an effort to show the gore and leave it in the past when we've had beheadings and stuff. they quickly move away from it, right? But here we get to see that severed head like 4 more times, just the guys waving around like a trophy.
Yeah. So there's quite a few kind of like stabbings, and a few limbs get chopped off, like a foot gets chopped off, a hand gets chopped off, the head gets chopped off.
Yes.
It's all of it. I mean, it's all got a kind of low budget, like cheesiness to it. I mean, it made me feel kind of gross. So
Yeah.
I think it succeeded, if that makes any sense.
It does. And I'm fascinated. I mean, this is the time when horror movies get gross, is now. And I didn't expect it to happen yet, but here we are. So,
yeah. The other thing I wanted to say is there's a really, really extended, uncomfortable scene of sexual assault.
Yes.
Like, and this is implied. This is how all the construction workers get rabies. It's because I'm not going to go into it because it's pretty gross.
Yeah.
It's funny. I grew up and like the mantra was always like, stuff is getting nastier and more violent and more profane in our films.
Yes.
But there are things horror movies don't really do very much anymore. And this is an example. I mean, I know there are some that do, but like mainstream horror movies do not do this anymore. And so I think we are seeing kind of like a push and pull of like, where is this genre going to go? Like what's effectively scary without being like upsetting in a bad way, you know what I mean? So I guess we'll see where this goes. I think, we're in for probably more of this as we go along. But, I found it really unpleasant to watch. I mean, I guess it's supposed to be unpleasant to watch, but it's also clearly supposed to be titillating at the same time, which is what produces that gross feeling.
Yeah, it's breaking norms that it wants you to feel uncomfortable with, and there's something exciting about that. And I think I think this is where we may struggle is we like to be scared. I don't know how much we like to be just grossed out. If a film only has scary stuff, we're okay. If a film has scary stuff and gross stuff, we're okay. If a film just has gross stuff, then I feel like that's not what you and I are here for. So
right, exactly. Yeah. So I have one other comment about that scene, because I think it thematically muddles. I don't know how intentional this was, but it works. It muddles the idea that the hippies are bringing the depravity into the community.
Yes.
Because the actual main group of zombies that ends up destroying the town is these construction workers who become rabid after sexually assaulting, essentially, this member of the hippie cult. And to me, that is a different horror theme that we have seen in a lot of movies, which is there's darkness inside all of us. Like there's a feral monster waiting to get out, lurking underneath, this very prosaic, like I'm a hardworking American with a 40-hour a week job doing honest labor and stuff.
Right.
But those people end up becoming as big a threat to the community as the actual outsider hippies do.
Yes.
And I always enjoy it when a kind of stupid theme gets muddled or complicated in that way.
Probably unintentionally, but yes.
Probably unintentionally, but it still happened. So I don't know if it's to the film's credit exactly, but like we started out saying, this is like kind of a racist movie about how minorities are going to ruin your white neighborhood.
Right.
But it does sort of poke its own like racist themes of pokes a few holes in it with stuff like that. So I'll stop beating that horse now.
No, that was good. And I think we should move on to I Eat Your Skin.
Yes.
And I think it's funny that I wrote down I Eat Your Flesh, even though I'd just seen the title card of the film. So I wonder why I did that. It just sounds more like a horror movie than I Eat Your Skin for some reason.
Yeah, I Eat Your Skin is a weird title.
It is.
It is kind of an odd title. When Brad first announced these, I assumed it was like that this was a foreign film and the translation of the title was weird or something, like something didn't quite work, because clearly the word should be flesh, right?
Yes. But, so in any case, let me give you a quick summary of this movie, and then I don't think we're going to spend as much time on it. I have several clips I want to play and just want to talk through it. But a Playboy writer, Tom Harris, and his agent, Duncan Fairchild, and Duncan's wife, Coral, head to a small island known as Voodoo Island to write a great adventure story On the island, they find a local constable, a doctor. I think Billadou is how we say his name.
Yes, Dr. Billadou.
Who's searching for a cure for cancer, and his beautiful daughter, Jeannie. They also find voodoo rituals, zombies, and human sacrifice, but no skin eating that I saw.
And I heard Janine throughout this.
Did you hear Janine? Okay.
I did. But like, if IMDb said Jeannie, then we can say that. So
let's say Jeannie, just so we're all on the same page.
Okay,
But
sounds good.
So again,
we'll find out in one of the clips you play. They say her name.
Oh, all right.
All right.
That'll be the determining
waiting
factor.
in suspense. Yes.
Again, being Grindhouse. First of all, this movie is not as gross as the other movie.
No.
Second, it is way like we were commenting that this is the same director as Horror Party Beach and how it's competent. It is competent, but it's super boring.
Yes.
Compared to the Grindhouse fest that we just watched, and the fact that it's an older movie is unsurprising. Though there is a decapitation with a machete, just like in the first movie.
There is a little provocative content in this.
Yes.
There's a decapitation, and there's some like sexual innuendo, very mild.
Yes.
But if that stuff were trimmed out, I would have no trouble buying that this was filmed in 1954 or something. It's just like we've seen this movie a bunch of times at this point, quite frankly.
We should mention this film is black and white, too.
Yes.
And when it was sold to all the drive-in theaters, they didn't tell the audience it was black and white. They did all the promotion for I Drink Your Blood with color pictures and said, and you get to see I Eat Your Skin.
Yeah.
And then you see the film, this was shown second, and it's black and white.
And much more tame.
Yes. It's when I was watching this, it's genuinely an odd pairing of movies to be in a double feature. It would be like going to a double feature of horror movies, and one movie is like Ghostbusters and the other is It Follows or something, right? Like, I mean, just different. They're doing different things. They're different types of horror. They have different audiences. Just kind of odd. Like if I were the sort of person that dug I Drink Your Blood, I would find this movie punishingly dull.
Yes.
And probably vice versa, I guess.
However, it doesn't start that way. We get, just like any good movie, we get sort of an opening teaser. So we do get right to it, Andy, with a voodoo ceremony, with ecstatic dancing, and scantily clad people dancing around, and a voodoo master, and a goat.
And voodoo drums.
Andy.
And I don't think they stop banging those drums throughout the movie. I think they just keep going.
Yeah, I think you're right. Of all the hokey voodoo ceremonies we've seen, I think this is the least hokey.
Yeah.
You know?
This is another situation where it looks like they're having fun instead of doing anything that's very sinister, at least until the machete comes out.
Yes, and then they bring a goat out that's going to be sacrificed. However, I think they end up sacrificing the woman instead.
Yes, that's implied, although you don't see it on the screen.
And then we cut to credits.
But also, in the back of the stage, there's like the head priest who's wearing some sort of disguise, so we can't see who it is.
Yeah.
But you can figure it out by the middle of the second act at the latest.
We haven't talked about this trope, but it clearly is a trope, and that is where an old white person is the leader of this jungle voodoo cult.
Yes.
Think how many movies that has been the big reveal, and it's the big reveal in this one too, I guess, not to get ahead of ourselves.
Yes, absolutely. But
anyway, carry on.
Yeah, but let's just go act by act, and we'll talk about some things here. I do want to talk about this first act. So we start with our Playboy writer, Tom, talking to a group of rapt women where he tells stories from his novels to them. He's making out with one, but unfortunately his agent comes up and says, hey, you got to go to this island with me. There's a killer story here. And he's like, no, thanks. Until the woman he's making out with, her husband shows up and starts chasing them.
If you think it's really funny to watch someone fall into a swimming pool, have I got a scene for you?
Yeah, I wrote, my note here is comedy hijinks. So, so a couple notes here. First of all, they escape the husband in a Rolls Royce. We haven't seen a Rolls Royce before.
Oh, okay. All right.
Yeah. And it's called Voodoo Island, and we're going to get actual zombies, like old-fashioned zombies. But here's the pitch that his Duncan Fairchild, his agent, gives him about going to this island.
Some superstition about a an army of walking dead. I presume you would call them zombies.
Now, wait a minute. You actually contemplate taking that lovely, voluptuous kook of a wife whom you claim to love, and me, your breadwinner, whom you claim to be your best friend, to an island overrun with dead people practicing human sacrifices and voodoo for the sake of a good book?
So there's your plot right there. That's kind of the whole thing.
Yes.
So they go to the island, and they go in by the way, this plane is a Mooney M20, which I've never heard of before.
Okay.
So apparently they were popular in the 60s. So they go to this island. They land on the beach, which is kind of hilarious.
Yes.
Then they sort of get separated, and Tom runs into one of the local zombies, sees a local get his head cut off by the zombie, barely escapes, and gets rescued by the constable. And in any case, everybody winds up at a nice manor on the island. Can I just point out, like this island is so rare and difficult to find, they couldn't find it on a map, but it has like a police force, and clearly it imports gasoline and machine parts.
I wondered that too, yeah. This island, we see some like stock footage of an island, and this is, I think, from my internet research, this is Kaya Aurora, which is nicknamed Gilligan's Island. It's not because Gilligan was on it or it was filmed there. But that's just the name it has. So
that's funny.
Anyway,
I kind of love that. So, so then we get a doctor, Dr. Bilodeau, and his lovely daughter, Jeannie or Janine. We're about to find out. But this
Do you
isn't
think we're
really
ever going to get a movie where the scientist or doctor has a son instead of a beautiful daughter of marriageable age?
Yeah, we'll see. I'm skeptical, but I did want to include this not because it has anything to do with the movie, Andy, because it's such a bad pickup line. It's like torture, and I wanted to torture you for a second. So if you could play clip 6.
What part of heaven did you fly down from?
Oh, boy. Mr. Harris, I've read some of your books, and I only hope you're more original in person.
So there you go. That is clearly not up there with slide that chassis over here, Lassie. But
shoot that chassis over to me, Lassie. Yes. So I wouldn't go so far as to say that that Harris is an interesting protagonist.
No.
However, he has a little bit more texture to him as a character than the vast majority of movies that this is just retreading.
Yes.
Because he's kind of like a selfish, like womanizing kind of, he's not a jerk, but like, he's just kind of full of himself, and you can tell he uses these pickup lines on every woman he comes across. And give me, if we got to have a like boring white protagonist, at least give him some character traits I can kind of react to, right?
Yes, exactly.
And I did appreciate that Jeannie or Janine does push back at his dumb lines, although they still kind of work because they fall in love in the end. But yeah.
Yes. Well, so everybody has dinner. It's very old fashioned. They all get dressed for dinner and have dinner at this doctor scientist's house. There's a lot of things that go back and forth here. At one point, some zombies come and try to kidnap Jeannie/Janine. Gets rescued. They come back to the house. This act is all about just sort of setting up the island and what the stakes are. So I'm just going to sort of jump to the end of Act 2 where they tell us what the stakes are.
Yeah.
The tribe believed that the sacrifice of the young blonde girl had saved the boy's life. Now I know that the descendants of that tribe are the natives on this island. They were brought here by the slave traders centuries ago.
You mean to tell me that the natives on this island today still believe they can avoid a catastrophe by sacrificing a young blonde virgin, in this case Janine?
Haha, it's Janine.
I was right.
Yes.
I stand vindicated. Thank you.
Good job, guys.
So that's the plot of the movie.
Yeah. This movie, this is an hour and a half long movie. And I can't even really think of much else to say about it because this is our fault, but we have seen this movie like 25 times.
Yeah. And it's got,
it follows it follows every beat of every movie where white people go to an island and get entangled with a local voodoo cult. All the characters are there. The plot twists are the same. Anyway, I'm sorry, I'm being a little down on this one.
No, it's all right. Like everything you expect. The housekeeper is actually part of the voodoo. She's a powerful voodoo sorceress. Like, they eventually find the ceremony in the woods. They disguise themselves going to the ceremony. Like, so many things that we've seen. There is this lovely underground lab where the doctor is turning snake venom, and he's using it to turn people into zombies. And we don't really know why, because he came here to cure cancer. We get an answer right near the end, but there's a big fight. Everybody runs away. Their plane gets blown up. They have to get on a boat, and they barely escape.
Yes.
I did want to. There's this bizarre turn at the end where the doctor tells them what the real plot is, which is not hinted at all throughout the film, and I kind of wanted to play that too. Because I'm like, what?
Please?
Yeah, please.
What happened? What's that noise?
It's the end of Voodoo Island and Charles Bentley's dream of conquering the Earth with an indestructible army.
Like, what? Wait.
They
we just found out.
That is 20 seconds from the end of the movie. You are told the plot of the film. Yes.
And all you knew is that Charles Bentley, you just found out 20 seconds before that Charles Bentley, who was the constable who had rescued them at the beginning, was the voodoo master. So the fact that he had a plot at all is new to us, and that he was trying to build an indestructible army is also new to us.
So at that point, a little more is clarified, because I didn't understand why, like you say, Dr. Billadou was making zombies, and he admits at the end. Does he die at the end?
Yes.
Okay, that's right. He
Okay.
confesses that he started using humans as guinea pigs for his attempts to cure cancer, but then Bentley found out and forced him to help his plan to make zombies. So I don't know if his cures were.
No, I think what happened was he was using human tests and it didn't cure cancer. Instead, it turned them into zombies. And then Bentley goes, aha, I can use that to take over the world.
How is he going to get him off the island? That's just what I want to know. It's been established there's not a lot of ways off this thing. But anyway.
Anyway, there's one great thing in the final battle, which is Tom shoots a zombie in the chest with a flare gun and knocks him off the back of the
that
boat.
was, I mean, it's not violent, but that was a little whoa, that was pretty gnarly.
Yeah, and I've complained on this podcast and elsewhere that modern CGI sort of takes the grit and bite out of films and can be kind of boring. So I don't want to shock anybody when I say this explosion and the island collapsing into the sea is the worst special effect we've seen, except for perhaps the plant monster in one of the island movies. I can't even remember. But and it could have used some CGI.
But you know what? At least they went for it. They
did
said,
go
we're
for
going to
it.
destroy an island, and they actually went for it. It's hokey, but they went for it.
It's paper mache, and when it blows up, like bits of paper come raining down.
I think that movie was
amazing.
Voodoo Island that had the cheesy plants on it. So
I think so. Yes.
Something to put on our little serial killer bulletin board, a connection. So let's talk about the zombies, because there are zombies in this, and they are I wouldn't say they're very great zombies, but they are, an attempt to do a vintage zombie. So tell us what they look like, John.
So they have these giant eyes, this eye makeup, and then like their face is sort of rotted, but they do it by sort of just piling makeup on their faces. And that's really the only indication that
they have
zombies.
big bug eyes, like prosthetic
big bug eyes, yes.
bulbous eyes, right?
And what does it remind you of?
It reminds me of Carafor, way back in I Walked with the Zombie, right?
I look at that and I said they must have been influenced by that zombie.
Carafor looked way cooler, though, I have to say.
And Carafor was also in Zombies on Broadway, so that zombie was twice. So that's two opportunities for Del Tenney to have seen that zombie.
Yes, and I wonder if I don't really wonder. I'm just it's curious to me that this movie would exist in 1960 whatever, but I guess
this movie is very behind the times of other zombie films.
Yes.
Like Night of the Living Dead is 3 years old when this came out. Like this.
No, well, when it was released, technically this movie was made before Night of the
That's a
Living
good point.
But yes,
just who thought that this would be the movie to release in the early 70s alongside a movie that is also not very good, but is I'll get to it in Final Judgments.
in a completely different way, it's not very good.
Well, so to answer your question, Andy, the producer bought this film for $40,000.
Okay.
And so he could clearly make his money back by pairing it with
Yeah.
I Drink Your Blood. And it was just a way to get people to show up for two movies.
All right, guys, I actually have a couple trivia questions for you based on this movie because I sense we're getting towards the end of it.
Oh, let's do it.
In I Eat Your Skin, Janine claims at one point that a gun emplacement was built on Voodoo Island during the war. True or false?
Yes.
The U.S. fortified Caribbean islands during World War II.
I'm going to say true.
I'll say true.
Yeah, it's true. The U.S. massively fortified the Caribbean, fearing that Germany would use the former French Caribbean islands as forward bases. And they also feared that Netherlands-owned islands with oil refineries on them, would become vulnerable after the Netherlands fell. So, all right. Secondly, what is needed for a small propeller plane to take off from a sandy beach? This is going to be multiple choice, okay? Because their escape plan is to take off in a propeller plane from a sandy beach, remember?
Yeah, there's no way that's possible. Like, it needs a smooth, firm surface.
You got to wait and answer the questions, John. Okay. Here are your options.
Right.
What is needed for a small propeller plane to take off from a sandy beach? A, oversized tundra tires. B, hard-packed wet sand. C, STOL short takeoff and landing modifications to change the shape of the wing's front edge. D, an oversized high horsepower engine equipped with large fine pitch propellers. E, heroic grit. Or F, all of the above.
I say it's everything but E.
I say it's the wet sand.
It is all the above because I think it does take a little heroic grit to take off. But in other words, I realized they were in an emergency and they didn't have a lot of choice, but that plane in this movie was not going to take off from the sandy beach.
In the fact that it didn't flip straight onto its nose when they landed it. It's also,
okay. All right, John, any closing thoughts on this before we get to our wrap-up questions?
No, let's go for it.
Oh, no, I got one for you. John.
All right.
When discussing this film, you did not bring up the unsung hero of the film, and that is Enrico, who in the beginning of the film, he's the chauffeur who picks them up from the hotel in the Rolls Royce. They get to the airport. He then is the pilot who pilots the plane to the island.
That's right.
And then they get to the house, and when the couple wants to get loaded and get drunk, he's behind the bar making them drinks.
He didn't realize he was doing all of that.
It's the same guy. And then at the end, when they're trying to take off in the plane, he's the only one in the plane when it blows up because a zombie's walking towards the plane with a box of explosives, and when it hits the propeller, it all blows up. Enrico's the one who dies.
Yeah, you know what? I'm sorry I didn't mention that because it is the best part.
Is this our first zombie as a suicide bomber?
I think it might be.
I think we should mark that down. He's carrying a big black box labeled explosives, even though they speak Spanish on this island. But
and would throwing explosives into a propeller, would that cause an explosion?
I'm skeptical, but
I don't know. I wouldn't bet money that it wouldn't blow up if I were next to it.
No, yeah,
right.
I wouldn't do it. Correct.
Right. Okay. Well, questions for the ages. Listeners, write us in with your answers to the propeller and explosives questions, and if you have any rabies facts that we got wrong, John would like to hear that. Address it to him.
Yeah, absolutely. And you'll notice I didn't say anything about the James Bond movie that Brad brought up. I just kept my mouth shut. So I just want to.
we should address that, John. What are you referring to?
You brought up something about Live and Let Die, right? And I just didn't say anything because
I think you just want to say that
I've learned my lesson.
Some facts, yeah.
I've learned my lesson that I don't really know anything about James Bond movies. So
it's like a humbling moment, and humbling but important moment in your hero's journey, John. You
thank you.
You realize that you don't know or whatever. You have the knowledge of what you don't know. All right, guys, we got to wrap these guys up. So I don't think these are such different movies. I think we got to ask our questions about each separately, but we'll kind of go through them quickly, okay? So let's start with I Drink Your Blood, the first one, the 1971 grindhouse exploitation one. In I Drink Your Blood, John, is there a hero party?
Yes.
Who is it?
It's the little boy, his sister, grandpa, and
and
Mildred.
Andy is a member of it for a while. He's the friendly cultist, and even though he's a jerk and he does get killed, he is like trying to help him escape for much of the movie.
Yes, he is.
And how does the party do?
Not so great. Everybody but Pete and Sylvia eat it.
And a couple of them by becoming, quote, zombified, right? Or at least one of them by becoming zombified.
Yeah, and Grandpa by being stuck with a pitchfork.
Oh,
to
that's
the
right.
side of
Yeah,
the barn.
we forgot to mention that. But
Yeah, we did. There was just so much else going on, Andy.
A lot of incident in that movie. Is there a zombie horde in I Drink Your Blood?
Yeah, rabid construction workers.
It's a pretty good horde.
Yes.
I think what we've learned is that 28 Days Later did not invent the fast-moving zombie. Because there's some pretty good shots of them where you see them running away, and in the background you see this swarm, of maybe 10 zombies sprinting madly after them, and it's pretty scary in that, like, I don't think they're gonna get away. But then they always stumble into a river is how they always escape that situation.
Yes, this town is surrounded by water, is what we
Yes. How are zombies destroyed or killed in I Drink Your Blood?
Actually, since they're really rabid humans, you can just shoot them.
Yes.
Or you can also spray them with water and they freak out. But that doesn't kill them.
That's right. Yeah, you can drive them off. That's like a bane in the way that fire has been a bane of zombies in past movies we've seen. Let's see, what type of zombie strain are we dealing with these rabid humans?
They're infected zombies. So it's taking I don't know if rabies is a virus or a bacteria, but it's taking the rabies and blowing it up to 10. Like in 28 Days Later, there's the rage virus. Like they essentially took the rabies and turned it into the rage virus. So they're not unlike the zombies from 28 Days Later, who I think we've established aren't maybe dead all the time. You know what I mean? They're not dead.
I don't think that they're dead at all. So so I think it's important. We should probably, if we aren't already, we should probably note whether the zombies are dead or not when we flag the zombie types.
Yes.
Can the zombies return to being human?
No.
Yeah.
Because once rabies is that advanced, you have no luck.
Exactly. All right, let's quickly go through the pillars of the zombie genre that you identified in I Drink Your Blood.
Yes.
Is there an apocalypse?
Not really, though this town is apocalyptic in the sense that the town is dying. So I'll say no, but it's sort of a desperate situation.
Yeah. Is there contagion?
Yes.
Yep.
Way too much contagion.
Yep, definitely.
Over
It's
contagion.
a little too contagious, yeah. Are there tough moral choices?
Not in the way that I meant. Everybody just makes bad moral choices.
Yeah, I don't think anyone has like a tough choice to make. It's usually pretty clear. Usually the choice is just like, we got to get out of here or fight to defend ourselves. And that's not a tough choice.
Yeah. No.
Lastly, are there loved ones turning against you?
Yeah, Mildred right at the end turns against her lover boy, who looks, by the way, like Brandon Routh. Am I the only one who saw that? The guy who played Superman before?
Oh, interesting.
I can see that.
Yeah.
Okay, guys, I'm going to pivot over to I Eat Your Skin. We're going to ask these same questions. I Eat Your Skin is that traditional people go to the Voodoo Island movie. In I Eat Your Skin, is there a hero party?
There is. It's Tom Harris, the Fairchild, and the doctor and his lovely daughter, Janine.
And Enrico,
of course.
Yeah, I say this is a pretty traditional hero party. All right, how does the party do? How many survive?
Most of them, except for the doctor and Enrico.
And Enrico dies, yeah. Okay, is there...
Well, wait, can we take a moment? Mr. Fairchild, I don't know if you noticed, to me, he looked like Kyle MacLachlan.
Oh, he did.
He does.
I
his
can
older
see
brother.
that. Yes.
Yeah,
Yep.
I can see that.
Okay, tell us about the zombies in I Eat Your Skin. John, what kind of strain are we dealing with?
We're dealing with a very old school voodoo style zombie. However, there is a scientific medical intervention. It's a little complex because science is used to distill the venom, but it's a naturally occurring venom.
Yeah.
So they're like classic voodoo zombies.
Yeah, I don't think there's
even
anything...
if there's some science involved.
I don't think there's anything mystical about their creation, right?
No, I don't think so.
Is there a zombie horde?
Yeah, they get chased at the end by a horde of zombies.
How are zombies destroyed or killed?
They're not, because at one point they shoot them. They several times they show people shooting zombies and nothing happening.
Can these zombies return to being human?
No, they're dead zombies. They're super dead. And then now they have bug eyes.
That's right.
So I don't see how you come back from
Yeah,
that.
that's going to require extensive surgery. So I don't actually know if these zombies are dead or not, John, because
I think they're dead.
So we see some of the doctor's patients getting injected with the zombie serum. Were those like cadavers?
Maybe not.
I think the problem was they were test subjects and it killed them.
Okay.
And then it brought them back as zombies.
All right. I'd buy that.
Yeah, I think they feel like they're probably supposed to be dead.
I feel like they're dead. Yeah. Because you can shoot them and not even blood comes.
Yeah.
So.
Okay. Yeah, that's a good point. Okay. All right, John, how many of your pillars are we going to find in this one? Starting with, in I Eat Your Skin, is there an apocalypse?
Not really. Though the island blows up at the end, but that's not what we meant by apocalypse.
Right. Is there contagion?
No, you have to get turned into a zombie by the doctor who has a sudden turn, realizing it's a horrible idea in the last 30 seconds of the movie.
It also doesn't scale very well if he's trying. The goal is to create an army to take over the world. But
yeah,
maybe they'll find a way to mass produce this. Are there tough moral choices in I Eat Your Skin?
And no, not really. Everybody acts the way you expect them to.
I think the only person who's in kind of a morally tough situation is the doctor, I guess, because he's being sort of pressured.
Yeah, but it wasn't really morally tough.
Right. Yeah. Okay. And does this movie feature loved ones turning against you?
No, I don't think so. At one point, she says she has one friend on the island, a young man. He gets turned into a zombie, but then we kind of never see him.
Oh, yeah. We didn't mention him because he wasn't very important. But
right.
Okay. Then, all right. We have some traditional closing questions. Before we do, John, I'm just curious. Well, so here's a general observation about watching these two movies back to back.
Yeah.
I thought that I Drink Your Blood was a pretty dire movie that I didn't especially enjoy watching. However,
agreed.
Watching it, especially in conjunction with I Eat Your Skin, it felt like something new and exciting, right?
Yes.
It's not even anywhere in the same league as Night of the Living Dead, but it has that thrill of like, this movie might do something to surprise or shock me in it. You know what I mean?
Yes. We haven't seen people running around with axes and swords, and like there seem to be genuine like, what is Rollo going to do now that he's rabid with an axe?
Right,
you know
exactly. I mean? And there is, that fear that something scary is going to happen. There's a little bit of that in this movie. Or at least
more like a fear of something gross.
Something gross, right?
Yes.
But there's and that is something you don't feel even for a second watching I Eat Your Skin, right?
No.
Nope. So I guess my closing question is for you, John, is have you found any of these movies scary? Like think back across the Zombie Strains episodes we've done. Have there been movies that scared you or unnerved you? And was I Drink Your Blood one of them?
There have been movies that scared me a little bit. A Carnival of Souls had a little scary action going on.
Yeah.
And there are a few others. I'd have to think really hard, but I think there's scenes.
I mean, Night of the Living Dead's kind of an obvious one. I think that's pretty scary.
Yeah, I think there's a scene in I Walked with a Zombie where they're like in the cornfield and they run into Carrefour that is shot in such an engaging way that it was a little tense and scary.
Yeah.
The Plague of the Zombies when
yes.
I can't remember her name when she came out of the earth.
Alice.
Yes,
Alice,
that's right.
yes.
So I guess
that was
what I'm getting.
So yes, I've been scared. No, not by this movie.
Yeah, what I'm getting at is that the I Eat Your Skin style movies, this feels very played out, and I don't know how you would be scary with that concept, at least for a couple decades, But this more chaotic horror of the 70s. I wouldn't say I'm looking forward to watching more of it, but it is a little bit of you can see why this would have been more exciting to watch. So
yes, it's transgressive, which is exciting.
So I'm going to get to our final closing questions, but I do actually have one last trivia question.
All right,
this is mostly for John, but Brad, you can weigh in if you want. What should happen to producer Brad because he made us watch these two movies? A, should he be skeletonized like the undead in Plan 9 from Outer Space? B, should he be pushed into a sub basement full of cannibalistic zombies like in Bowery at Midnight? C, should he be devoured by the giant plant from Woman Eater? Or D, should he be pulled under the swamp by zombie Lila like in Revenge of the Zombies?
I kind of like, Brad, I want your death to be memorable. So I'm going to say Pulled Into the Swamp by Zombie Lila. That's
How would you choose to go out, Brad?
Well, my first question is, this punishment covers these crimes and future crimes, so I can't be punished again for future 70s films.
Oh,
right?
yeah. Maybe I'm shooting my bolt a little early here on this.
Yeah.
We'll find other ways to hold you accountable, Brad.
I'll go in the cellar via Bela Lugosi.
Yeah. All right. Fair enough.
From Bowery at Midnight.
Okay. So that means it's time to wrap up with our traditional closing questions. And John, I'll ask these once, but answer for each of these two separate movies because our answers might be different for them. John,
yes.
Would you and I survive in the zombie world of I Drink Your Blood? And would we do any worse or better in the zombie world of I Eat Your Skin?
I feel like we would die in I Drink Your Blood because everybody does.
Yeah.
Like if we didn't, like, I feel like we're too good to get zombified like the construction workers, but those construction workers would probably kill us.
Yeah, so. If like all of your neighbors were going crazy and running around with weapons, like that's probably pretty bad news, I'd say.
And if the only source of food in the town is that bakery and the meat pies,
yeah, like we'd get scurvy. So yeah, there's no way we live.
Is the town turning into a ghost town because it's about to get flooded by the dam? By the way,
I think that's what they're saying.
Okay.
By the way, in the movie, they refer to the dam as that damn dam.
That damn dam.
That's some good script writing. All right. All right. John, is I Drink Your Blood a zombie movie or a movie with zombies?
It's a movie with zombies.
And how would you answer for I Eat Your Skin?
It's a zombie movie. Because the real horror in I Drink Your Blood is actually the hippies.
Yeah.
To start with. You know what I mean? The zombies are sort of incidental at the end. I was actually going through it like, can I give Brad a hard time about the fact that there's no zombies in this movie? But then there were. So
if there weren't any zombies, the cult could still be a scary menace that goes through town killing everyone. And it wouldn't really change the trajectory of the film very much.
Yes. It's just the rabies is a bonus, is the way I think.
I will say that when people discuss this online, they refer to the hippies as zombies.
Oh, interesting. Huh. They become zombies later, but not at the beginning.
Right.
I also was thinking about confronting Brad about these not being zombies, but then I remembered that like 28 Days Later, which is a great zombie movie, has the same type essentially, and so I had to shut up.
Yeah.
Okay, lastly, John, do you recommend I Drink Your Blood first to a general audience and then to an audience of zombie loving listeners? And then how would you answer about I Eat Your Skin? Or, maybe, or do you think these must be viewed together at the same time?
So this is an easy answer. So it's no to everything.
Yes.
However, if you're curious and have never seen a grindhouse film, like I don't think you should, but if you are curious, you could watch I Drink Your Blood because it is like a signpost of where we're headed in a way that I Eat Your Skin is not.
Yeah. I agree. No, a solid no across the board for me on both of these films. I do acknowledge that I do think I Drink Your Blood is an interesting film. I didn't enjoy watching it, and I don't think most of you listening to this will either, but it's like a cultural artifact. I do have a feeling we're going to get better grindhouse films, not better and you know what I mean by better films that like embody the grindhouse thing, but with maybe a little bit more technical skill.
Lean in a bit.
Right.
Yeah.
Now, these films are cult classics. They were both shown at a drive-in in Pennsylvania where people drove from around the country to go see it.
Huh.
In Los Angeles, the New Beverly Theater that's owned by Quentin Tarantino, he has shown them and it draws a crowd. So there is an attraction for these films.
One thing I noticed, and I forgot to mention at the beginning. So on IMDb, this I Drink Your Blood or I Eat Your Skin got a 3.6 rating. There is a remake from 2019, and that got a 3.7 rating. So,
Okay.
Yeah, I forgot to mention that.
I'm actually quite curious, but I'm also happy waiting a few decades to get to that one. Okay, well then, with that all said and done, it's time for the scariest part of the episode, and that's where producer Brad reveals to us what John and I will be watching next.
Here's the trailer for our next film.
Now, human zombies rise from their coffins as living corpses in blood of ghastly horror. Voodoo witchcraft transforms beautiful women into 1,000-year-old mummies.
Joe Corey died.
John Carney!
And a psychotic killer was born.
I can't believe it.
It's true. Joe's last days were spent as a hunted
Oh my
mad
gosh.
animal.
See a doctor invent
There's
a
action.
weird artificial brain component and create an inhuman fiend who commits acts of shocking and brutal.
Okay. That sounds pretty amazing, producer Brad.
I have questions that I hope will be answered next week.
Yes. Human zombies rise from their coffins as living corpses. Blood of ghastly horror.
Okay.
Is this our last John Carradine?
Every time I think it is, he pops up again. But no, I know he's in one at least from 1980 or so.
Yeah,
so
I just like...
he'll be back.
I imagine he smokes like 7 packs of cigarettes a day. And just the fact that he's still alive is stunning. So,
John, I have to say that does not mean you should smoke.
No, I don't. I quit smoking. So,
yeah, so
nobody worry.
This poster, we've got a pretty gnarly looking zombie. Looks almost like a seaweed zombie, the way he's kind of drooping.
You know
all
what
over
it
the
looks
place.
like? It looks like something from EC Comics.
Yes, it does. Yes, it does.
It's a drawing. It's like a comic book drawing from EC Comics is what it looks like.
And then there's a guy, it looks like he's trying to punch someone who's climbing out of a coffin, and a scantily clad woman who is fainting in front of the zombie. So
everything we need. It's all right here.
I'm curious, John, is this going to be more like, do you think this is going to be more like I Drink Your Blood or more like I Eat Your Skin?
I think it's going to be more like I Drink Your Blood.
All right. We'll find out, I guess.
I will say it was made in the 60s and not released for a couple of years.
Okay.
All right. We'll see you next episode for Blood of Ghastly Horror. You've been listening to Zombie Strains. We'll be back next episode to talk about another zombie movie. If you enjoyed our podcast, please take a moment to rate us in your podcast app of choice. Tell a friend. Follow us on Instagram at Zombie Strains. All of this helps like-minded people find the show. See you next time.